Hi guys, Ree here. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk with Ree podcast. How are you this week? Today, we are talking about cleaning tips, specifically for women with ADHD, specifically for mums that are overwhelmed, specifically for anyone like me who loves having a clean house, yet struggles to kind of fit it all in, you know? We are expected to do so much, specifically as mums, and the amount that we have to do is a lot. And trying to keep our whole house clean kind of feels like cleaning your teeth with lemonade sometimes, doesn't it? It just, the more children you have living in your house, making a mess, the harder it can be. So over the years, I have been tweaking, coming up with strategies, trying to fit in more cleaning, trying to get myself motivated to clean. And this whole time, I've been trying to hack, mum life, trying to hack fitting more into my days. Turns out I was just trying to hack ADHD when I got diagnosed with ADHD earlier this year at age 40. But I've got to say, the tips I'm going to share with you today are going to help anyone that has a lot on their plate. Without further ado, let's dive in and get started, shall we? So my first tip is to keep your cleaning supplies where you actually need them. So much like, you will have heard if you need to exercise and you need to put your gym kit out the night before, so when you get up, it's the obvious thing to do. It's kind of like that with cleaning. So if you're in the bathroom and you think, ew, this is dirty, it needs cleaning, yet all your supplies are in a totally different room, you're not gonna clean it there and then. You might have your children already in the bath that you can't leave because it's a drowning hazard. So you're not going to leave the room and go and get cleaning supplies and come back and clean. However, if you have, like we have set up in this house, didn't necessarily have the same system in the last house, but we had much better storage put into this house. If you have good storage where you can hide away cleaning supplies, so in this house, we have drawers under the sink, which was a game changer, by the way, absolute game changer. That dead space under the sink, using for neat storage where you can't see the stuff, game changer. So the bottom drawer is just full of cloths. So it's those little flannels I use for washing my face and for washing the children's face. But it's also the other half of the drawer is just microfiber cleaning cloths. They're all in there all the time. We've got cabinets up on the wall, just thin bathroom cabinets, but they're big enough to store lots of different cleaning products in there. They're up high, out of the way of the children, so there's no danger. And they're there. So the girls are in the bath. Then I can clean the sink, I can clean the shower, I can do all that. If I'm in there on my own, and this is something else I do, if I'm having a shower, I'm thinking, well, I'm already in here now, I may as well clean the shower. The stuff is there where I need it. And that way, when inspiration finds you, because let's face it, it doesn't always find us, does it? Sometimes it's hard to find inspiration, find the motivation. When motivation strikes, you need to be able to roll with it. And you need to be able to capitalize on that motivation. And by having the stuff where you need it, this is a prime example. In the kitchen, we've got all our cleaning supplies up high. I don't know why we didn't just do this initially. We used to have all our cleaning supplies under the sink in the last house with child locks. This house, we didn't bother with any of that, even though our youngest was quite small when we moved here. We just had a cleaning supplies cupboard that was high. And that way they can't get to the stuff and I didn't need to bother with the child locks. Don't know, I didn't do this before. And I know maybe some of you will say because of leaks, but everything goes into baskets anyway, so it would just leak into the basket, so it's all good. Anyway, the kitchen stuff is in the kitchen. I actually have a couple of cleaning supply bits in the calyx in my bedroom. I've even got in my office a spray bottle, and I keep cloths in here, because that way, when I think, ew, my desk is a bit gross, I can grab it, I can quickly clean it. It's there, it's easy. It's so simple. So where are you keeping your cleaning supplies at the moment? Are they so easily accessible that it's just you're almost falling over them in the places where you need them? Or are they kind of hidden and out the way? Even as daft as are they the right place in the kitchen or are they the wrong end of the kitchen? If you can put your cleaning supplies where they need to be used, you're going to use them more. It's just how it works, I'm afraid. At least for my ADHD brain. Another thing is to actually make the cleaning supplies attractive. So I find I'm far more likely to clean when I like the smell of things. So if I've got cleaning products that smell like hospitals cleaning products, unless this is the smell you like, but if they smell really sort of chemically, is that a word? If they smell sort of toxic and chemically and bleachy, I'm less likely to want to clean. However, I've been through, and this isn't sponsored anyway, I'm just kind of chatting about what I enjoy, but the Method cleaning products, for example, I'm sure there are others, but the Method ones, and I've tried all the different scents, I found the ones that I genuinely love. Like there are a few of them. I think I love the wild rhubarb, the pink grapefruit, that when I spray them, I'm like, wow, the house smells amazing now. So I want to clean because I want the house to smell amazing. And sometimes that wanting everything to smell amazing is enough to give me a kick up my backside to actually do a little bit of cleaning. So yeah, cleaning supplies that are nice, just down to having cloths that are nice. So we invested many years ago now, many years ago, in lots of microfiber cloths. I used to use before that a lot of kitchen roll, and although you'd think it would be cheaper than actually buying microfiber cloth, the number of years we've used those for, the money I must have saved on not buying that kitchen roll I was just chucking away, which, let's face it, can't have been great for the environment. I can't tell you how much, but it's been a lot. But I bought them in a colour I like. And it might sound silly, but if you've got nice bits to clean with, if you've got like, maybe it's a pretty cleaning caddy, maybe it's like those mop socks I use. If you've ever seen my speed cleaning videos, I've got those socks I put on when I'm mopping the floor. If you've got cleaning bits that are fun and attractive to use, you're just more likely to use them, okay? It's just a fact. Another thing, having said about mop socks, something I've started doing recently is kind of using go shoes, clean shoes, go faster shoes. Since I've started doing a lot of walking at my desk, so I've got a walking pad that goes under my desk, and the desk, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're just listening, you can't see this now, but you know, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this desk is like a corner desk, so it goes around like this, and then it raises up. I've got a button back here, it raises up, and I've got a walking pad that goes underneath it. I can walk while I'm working. So I've got trainers that, which is one of my pairs of Skechers actually, that have not been outside since they've been in the washing machine. So my trainers are machine washable. And I have some that I use on my walking pad or indoors that have not been outside since they were last washed. So I'm not taking outside dirt all over the house and just dropping more dirt and making more work for myself, because let's face it, that's not sensible, is it? So I've got indoor trainers, but I feel like when I'm wearing those, I'm a bit more like go, 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 you know, more like energize. And if you can kind of tell yourself, right, I am energized, I'm in like go mood when I'm wearing these shoes, you can kind of trick your brain into being more energized to want to do things like cleaning when you're wearing those shoes. Give it a try and report back. Next thing I use, power hours and microwave minutes. So sometimes trying to find the motivation to clean the whole house is just too much. It's just too much. It's not going to be done. Whereas being like, okay, I have got 1 hour. I'm going to race against the clock and see how much I can do. This, if you've got ADHD, kind of creates an urgency, it gamifies things, and that taps into that bit of our ADHD brains that says, right, let's do this, rather than like, oh, I don't want to do it. Oh. It's that, right, how much can I get done in an hour? How much can I do against the clock? And actually having a timer that's ticking down really helps. It keeps you going. It really gives you that booster. Right, I've got to get this done now. Because that sense of urgency just speaks to ADHD brains. I don't know what to tell you. It just does. And if you don't even have an hour, you can use microwave minutes. You can use the amount of time that your microwave is running. You know, how much can you get done in the 5 minutes before it beeps? You could set a timer. It doesn't have to be the actual microwave. You can set a timer and be like, right, I've got 5 minutes before I've got to go and get the kids from school. Can I get all this washing folded? I've got 10 minutes before I've got to do whatever. How much of this bathroom can I clean? Maybe I can't do the whole thing. How much can I do in 10 minutes? And that kind of gamifying, that setting like fake deadlines. I mean, maybe they're real deadlines. Maybe you do have to leave in 10 minutes, but telling your brain you've only got this much time, how much can you get done, will help you get more done if you have ADHD. Trust me, I'm realizing so much this year that I've always known that this kind of working under deadlines has helped me. And it's not like I love leaving things till last minute, because I don't. And over the years, historically, I have always left things to last minute, and I hate that feeling of, oh my goodness, this might not get done. That I do now try and get things done early, because I know in my real life as a mum of 4, life happens. And if I leave things to last minute and then one of the children are ill, things don't get done. So now I have to get things done earlier in order to allow myself that breathing time in case life happens. But I have to create the fake deadlines in order to make myself do things. So they have to be fake deadlines in advance of the actual deadlines. And let me know, does that work for you? Is that something that speaks to your ADHD brain too? Next thing to do is to remember to make cleaning fun. So Cleaning isn't like the most, I mean, for me, it's not the most fun in the world. Maybe you genuinely enjoy it. I don't. I like having a clean house. I do not like cleaning. However, I do like listening to certain podcasts, watching certain YouTube channels, chatting to my friend on the phone. I do like rewatching certain comfort TV series, so I wouldn't clean while watching a new show that I was really engaged in, because obviously you're only kind of half watching, mostly listening. I'd like have AirPods in, generally just one. It's one of my top tips. I only ever use one AirPod at a time, so I can listen out for the children, I can listen out for cars and things when walking along, but also when one goes flat you can switch over. So one AirPod at a time. And yes, if it's a show I've seen before and I can walk away from it, it doesn't matter if I miss some of the visuals, I'll have that on when I'm cleaning and I'll enjoy that. I maybe would watch something like more mundane, or what's the best word to describe it? More kind of zone out, guilty pleasure TV, like Your Love Is Blind or something. It doesn't have to be super engaging. However, just watching on Now TV, so I guess Sky as well, the TV adaptation of the book and the film The Time Traveler's Wife, and oh my goodness, I'm absolutely loving it. Sorry to kind of go off on a tangent here right now, but absolutely loving it. Let me know, have you seen that show? Really loving that. That is not something I would watch while I was cleaning the first time around. I might rewatch it if I'm cleaning, but that is something I really want to be focused on. I want to watch properly. However, comfort TV, Friends or something, have that on while you're cleaning, keeping you company. That makes it fun. That makes it less boring. Talking to friends is honestly the best one, because you can have a good old catch up while being super productive, especially if you've got your AirPods in. Do not do what I used to do, and my husband still does, and have the phone like wedged against your shoulder and then end up with a really stiff neck. Please use headphones, wireless headphones, while you're talking and cleaning, because otherwise you will really hurt your neck. Okay, just saying. So anything you can do to make it fun, really. So you can listen to a podcast. You could listen to this podcast. You could be listening along to me now and cleaning. You could actually be watching this, but only actually listening to it, because, if you're watching on YouTube, hello, but it's just me chatting. You could just be listening to this while you're cleaning. In fact, is there one thing you could clean before this video finishes? There we go. A little challenge for you. One thing to clean. What can you clean before this video is finished while you're listening to me? Let me know in the comments at the end what you managed to clean. So another thing that I find really helps my ADHD brain is chunking things down. So maybe clean the whole bathroom just feels so overwhelming, and you become so overwhelmed. There's so much paralysis by analysis that you don't do anything at all. Whereas actually, if you can kind of get the wheels moving, if you can get the boulder moving, things in motion stay in motion. So if you can say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to clean the sink, it's quite possible you'll keep cleaning and you'll also do the shower and the toilet and maybe the bath. But if you're like, I've got to clean the whole bathroom, that might feel so overwhelming to you that you don't start at all. So think about just chunking things down, small wins. Even if you just clean the sink, you've cleaned the sink. That is better than what you were doing, which is not cleaning the sink. And it's something off your list. It might only be one chunk of something off your list, but it is something off your list, and you've got to count that as a win. Visual reminders are kind of a big one when you've got ADHD, especially when you can have that tendency of having to walk into a room to fetch something, can't remember why you're there, start doing something else, remember halfway through, go back to the other thing. It can be a whole mess. It can be a whole thing. So having visual reminders can help. This can just look like a list written out in your planner. If you need a planner, by the way, I have a planner store with planners that were specifically designed to help my brain, which turns out is an ADHD brain. So check out the planner store. The one I am using at the moment is the Organized Life and Gratitude Planner. I have a number of planners, but that's my go-to daily planner. And I've also got the Organized Year Planner for my looking ahead to the month planning. But in my day-to-day planner, I've got a list. I've got my main priorities list, but I've also got my to-do list. And on there, I would put little things I want to get done, like change beds. But then I would more specifically chunk that down to change my bed, change Belle's bed, or whatever, and chunk those down to certain things. So that way, if there are 4 beds to change and I only did 2, I get 2 ticks. I get 2 little dopamine hits of things I have done. And then it encourages me to do more, because rather than being like, I didn't change all the beds, I don't get to take anything off, I did get to tick off certain chunks of that task. Another big thing that's helped me with being able to keep my house clean is decluttering regularly. So I know there is a difference between tidying and cleaning, and largely you can't clean unless you've tidied first. And it's so much easier to tidy if you've decluttered. So the less clutter you have in your house, the easier it's going to be to keep tidy. and the easier it is to keep tidy, the easier it is to clean. The more clutter there is, then the more stuff there is to clean. There is more stuff to wipe, to move, and it's faffy. So if you've got a lovely clear desk, cleaning it's easy. You take a cloth, you spray and wipe, you wipe it, it's done. If you've got a desk covered in junk, you can't clean it because you've got to tidy it first. So regular decluttering is a must. Again, decluttering with ADHD is a whole different topic that perhaps we should save for another day. But if you can fit in some decluttering, the less clutter you have around, and ultimately clutter attracts clutter. The more stuff you've got on the worktops, the more stuff's going to get added to the worktops. I found in our last house, we did have more stuff out. We had a bigger kitchen anyway, but we had, pasta jars out and things that lived out. And I felt that because it was not a totally clear surface, that people were quite happy to dump more stuff there. And keeping the surfaces in the kitchen decluttered in the old house was so much harder. It was just so much more difficult, even though it was a bigger house. So this house, we've done a lot of decluttering moving to this house, although it was it 4.5 years ago now we moved to this house? It was quite a long time ago. But when we moved to this house, we did massive decluttering. I really thought about the storage, about everything having a place. And because there is less clutter out, it is easier to keep tidy. It's so much easier to keep clean. So decluttering for the win, people. Decluttering for the win. Another one would be, tip-wise, to use some visual progress. Sometimes it can be quite disheartening when you think, I'm not getting anywhere. If you take a photo before you start of the mess and the carnage, it's almost like the worse the before photo is, the more satisfying the after photo is, or the more you're going to notice the difference. So take that photo and allow it to be motivation. Be like, right, this is what I'm starting with. And if you want even more motivation, have some accountability. So share that photo on your stories. Tag me, Real Talk with Ree podcast. Tag me Mummy of 4 UK and say, right, I'm going to get this room sorted. I'm declaring it to everybody. This is my intention. And then you have that accountability. Or send it to a friend. Say, right, this is my before. I'm not going to lie to you. This is what my house looks like at the moment. I need you on my case in an hour's time asking me if it's looking any better so I can send you an after photo. And having that accountability, you're far more likely to do it. Other accountability, of course, is just book something in. If you have someone about to arrive, you're far more likely to find the motivation to clean. And in fact, I find cleaning when I know someone's coming round makes me clean through different eyes. Can you clean through your eyes? I don't know. You see things through different eyes, and then you kind of see what needs to be done more. So I like the house to be clean and tidy anyway. I like it for us, whether I have got people here or I'm filming, or I'm having a day where there is nobody here. I never turn on the camera. Either way, I prefer it clean. However, if someone is coming over, you kind of see the house through their eyes, don't you? Excuse me, that's my stomach grumbling. I'm quite hungry. Anyway, you see the house through, stomach's grumbling again. You see the house through someone else's eyes, and you kind of think, oh gosh, I need to do this, need to do that. So if you really want some motivation to clean, get someone coming over at a certain time and watch how quickly you whip around with that vacuum. It'll be a lot faster than normal, I guarantee it. The other thing that is sort of important to do kind of on the other end of this is to kind of set limits, and sometimes setting a limit by cleaning before something else happens is a good way to do this, to avoid feeling burnt out, because sometimes when you've got ADHD you can slip into a hyperfocus and forget that you should be doing anything else. So cleaning, but then knowing someone's coming around at a set time, cleaning before you do the school run, all these things can create time boundaries, which can be quite important. But one thing I would say to you is just set an alarm. Set an alarm so that you know when you're supposed to stop cleaning. You know when you're supposed to go and fetch your children from school. It's not you're going to actually forget to fetch your children from school. But for me, if I've got an alarm going and it's like that's ticking away, that's going to remind me. And I do the same for working from home. I have an alarm 20 minutes before it's time to go and get the children from school, and then 10 minutes before. And that's, again, it's not like I'm going to forget I've got kids, I need to go and pick them up. But it's so that I don't have to spend the whole day clock watching, because time is a bit of a funny concept for people with ADHD, and time blindness is a real thing. And you can either totally get lost in what you're doing and be late, or be totally paralyzed by the fear that you're going to be late for something and spend so much time clock watching you don't get anything done. So that's where timers and alarms work really well for me because I'm like, right, that is looking after the time factor. That will tell me when I need to stop. That will tell me how long I've got left. And I can just focus on the thing I'm doing, which in the case of what we're talking about is cleaning, rather than watching the clock to check I'm not late. Rewards can be super important for everyone, but especially if you have ADHD. So if I clean then I'm going to do this. So if I can get all the washing done, then I'm going to sit and have a chat with my friend. If I can clean the kitchen, then I'm going to sit down and enjoy myself a bag of Maltesers, which, okay, we're not supposed to reward ourselves with food because that's slipping back into the other thing. But you know what I mean. You get in the picture, whatever your reward looks like for you, a nice healthy reward. You're an adult, you can pick your own reward. But if you can think of, okay, I'm going to reward myself with a treat. Maybe it's watching an episode of your favourite show once you've done the thing. Once you've tidied a certain room. Maybe you're just going to go and sit outside and enjoy some chilled out time. Maybe you're going to read a book once you've done the thing you want to get done. And this little reward scheme, it works for children and it works for adults, especially those with ADHD. Another thing that helps me is visualizing a little bit. And this sort of helps in two ways. So you can visualize like how lovely it's going to feel when your house is clean and how great it's going to feel. But the other thing that kind of works, which perhaps some would argue is a little negative, but does work for me, is thinking back to those times when the house felt so out of control. Those times when the children were little and I hadn't done loads of organising, decluttering, I didn't have any systems and I just didn't know how to stay on top of things. Or those times we've just come back from holiday and there is so much washing. You just think, how am I ever going to get through this? You know, I normally put on 2 loads of laundry a day. We've been away for a week. I've missed 14 loads of laundry. How am I supposed to catch that up? And feeling that overwhelm is horrible. For me, at least, I feel that that's horrible. And knowing how that feels and knowing that I don't want to feel like that is enough of a kick at the bottom for me to go and put some laundry on. So whether you visualize the positive outcome, which is perhaps more of a positive angle on it, perhaps is the one that most people would suggest, you know, how great it's going to feel. And I definitely recommend that. Almost the fear of not wanting to slip back into the chaos is enough of a motivator for me personally as well. So let me know in the comments, is cleaning something you struggle to stay consistent with? What is your biggest struggle? Do you do any of these things already? Have you tried any of them? And which ones are you going to try to help you stay on track? There is another video on screen that I know you will enjoy, or check out my Patreon for some early release episodes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.